So Elevation Church leaves the Southern Baptist Convention. Now, if you've been under a rock and don't know who Elevation Church or Stephen Furtick is, Elevation Church started in the mid-early 2000s in Matthews, North Carolina, and it boasts one of the biggest congregations in the United States, with having over 22,000 people worship with them weekly in 2022. So this news comes on the heels of Rick Warren's viral showdown with the SBC that we talked about on the channel, where he pulled up to their annual meeting and, he has a stance on women pastors that the SBC directly disagrees with within their statement of faith. And he was protesting, and making his statement at the SBC, and it went viral. The church still ended up getting disfellowshipped. And now you have Elevation Church coming out and putting out a press release today saying that they're removing themselves from the SBC, and it's going to cause ripple effects because Elevation Church is huge. Like I just said, they had 22,000 people coming to their services a week just last year in 2022. So that's a huge congregation loss for the SBC, right? So let's go ahead and read this statement that the Elevation Church put out. So the letter reads this. It says, "Dear sirs, we would like to thank the Southern Baptists for the privilege of partnering with you, especially through the Baptist State Convention of North Carolina for nearly 2 decades. This letter is to inform you that Elevation Church is withdrawing its affiliation with the Southern Baptist Convention effective immediately. You will find that our statement of beliefs on our website is very much in line with the Baptist faith and message. We have no intention of changing those core beliefs. We have no plans to make a public announcement on this decision. We have too much to do in reaching a world that needs the love of Jesus. Should your credentials committee decide to make this decision by Elevation public, we will only respond with a copy of this letter in anyone inquiring about this notification. Thank you again for the privilege of having been affiliated with the SBC all these years. Please know that our withdrawal from affiliation in no way means that we will withdraw from praying for you and your ministries and mission work in the future. We're all on the same side." Exclamation point. We pray that we will continue to be able to work alongside many SBC churches in the coming years. We know that there is much we can do effectively in partnership than we can do alone. May God bless the SBC and her churches for the years ahead. In his service, Chunks Corbett. So Elevation Church, who's known to employ women and allow women teachers and preachers upon their stages. I believe Pastor Furtick's wife, Holly, holds the title of pastor along with him as well. So there's a lot of speculation in the letter. They didn't really say, "Hey, we're leaving because you guys feel like this about women pastors," but that's the only road that it points to, is that they're leaving because, hey, we're not going to wait around for you to cause some type of drama or bring us to the forefront or bring us to the light. We're going to go ahead and stop our affiliating with you and remove ourselves from this before you try to call us out and before you try to bring us into some upheaval. So it's not really shocking at all in terms of Elevation leaving. I think them leaving is pointing not necessarily in solidarity with Rick Warren and Saddleback for leaving, but just their stance on their beliefs on women pastors, right? And you'll continue to see this, right? If Elevation Church is both one of the biggest congregations in America. If they're leaving and they're taking all those people with them, I don't know if that will necessarily hurt the SBC as a whole, but I definitely think that it's going to give other churches the strength that they need if they feel the same way to leave out with them. Because if Elevation leaving, they taking their dollars and they taking their influence and they taking their congregations with them, then, I definitely think it might give some other churches some strength to do the same thing. So what does this mean for the SBC? Well, the SBC now, because you got Elevation coming out, you don't know what other churches that are quietly affiliated with the SBC, because for many years, I didn't even know that the Elevation Church was a part of the SBC. Somebody had to point that out to me. I didn't even know that Elevation Church was a part of it, because they don't, when you look at Elevation, they don't look like how these guys on this Southern Baptist board and how these guys believe. They don't look or sound nothing like that, right? They might have looked and sound like that in the beginning, but they sure don't look and sound like nothing like that now. So I didn't even know that they were a part of this. So I don't know what other churches quietly hold that SBC statement of faith near and dear to their churches. But what does this mean for the SBC? Do you think that they will now loosen their stance on women being pastors? Because congregations and churches are starting to dip out in protest to their stance on women pastors. I don't think so. Like I said, if they're one of the biggest denominations in the world, one church leaving them and then having an 88% approval rate for the banning of women pastors at their annual meeting, I don't think that they're going to be flustered or move an inch by it. But it is interesting to see if other churches follow suit to try to put a stance up against the SBC. But I think even in other churches taking a stance and doing the same thing, they're probably still not going to loosen up their stance on women becoming pastors. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on in the next couple of weeks and next couple of months, right? We just talked about this Rick Warren situation a couple of weeks ago, and not even a month later, now you have the SBC, you have Elevation leaving the SBC. So stay on the lookout and maybe see if some more churches end up leaving too. So before I leave, I want to share this quick quote from this AP article that reported on Stephen Furtick and Elevation Church leaving the SBC. It says the SBC has been in membership decline for nearly 2 decades, but remains the largest Protestant denomination in America. In statistics released earlier this year by Lifeway Research, the denomination fell to 13.2 million members in 2022. That is the lowest level since the late 1970s. Rates of baptism are also in long-term decline, right? So the denomination, though it's still the world's largest Protestant denomination, is in a decline. So a lot of people are continuing to disagree with the SBC and their practices and their beliefs, right? So like I said, I don't think this will cause a ripple effect. I don't think that this will cause the SBC to change their stance, but I do believe it will cause a ripple effect in terms of other churches maybe following suit and saying, "Oh, elevation leaving. Oh, okay, I got strength now," and them leaving too. So the rest remains to be seen. What do you guys make of all this stuff? Do you not care? Do you think that Elevation is wrong for doing it? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. How do you think this will affect the SBC's reputation? And do you think Elevation Church will hurt, if any, because of it? Let me know in the comments.